recognize them.
They weren't able to find their opportunities to try and grab that game one. Can they do it, though, in game two? Noxious versus Flashpoint, game number 2 underway, and Noxious shall again be the first pick selection, and looks like this time they'll take away the op wash again. So if it is a throwaway ban, it's a consistent one at the very least, as they choose to take it off the board. Flashpoint respond with the Chernobog. But is there anything from game one that you want to see Noxious adjust? I mean, I think for what it's worth, Flashpoint didn't really show much in that game one. You know, I mean, I doubt that Discordia support is their A strat, you know, for when they're in DreamHack. I think that if Flashpoint can make it through here and not even give anything away, that's huge for them.
That's exactly their intention also. I mean, if you talk to the team, I talked with the team a little bit before getting into this set even, and they all just felt extremely confident and seemed pretty peaceful even, despite the tensions that can be surrounding you inside of a LAN environment. Flashpoint just didn't really seem to have a care in the world, and if you're going to have a performance like game one, I can almost understand it.
And for what it's worth, that was a game that looked like it might get a bit out of hand if the Erlang Shen had gotten fed, if, you know, a couple more things had gone right, but instead they were able to find the response. In particular, Delnyy was able to find it for them with the RDO and shut that down, and he will not have that same option this time. Noxious banning away the RDO, not going to let that be the hero for them, as Chang'e banned away on Flashpoint's side, but Erlang Shen, one more time, and that does mean that Flashpoint grab Freya Pele. Taco, it's hard to do better than that.
It's because the first time around, Noxious, they made their bans Outwash and Freya, but this time they wanted to look for those adjustments, felt like RDO was posing too many problems for the team, and so they banned it away. But allowing Freya and Pele to slip through the cracks, I mean, that's a pretty big... I don't want to call it a misplay, because there's nothing to stop Noxious from possibly having the necessary crowd control, but that's exactly what they need to get from this point forward, is heavy crowd control, so as to better keep Freya and Pele in check.
And they have some very, very high priority picks of their own. Erlang Shen might be the best jungler in the game. I think you can make a case for Mercury right there with him as well, but either one of them. Terra, also very, very strong support right now with the Earthing Fury. It's so strong in the team fight. She can have great control in lane. So I like these first two picks, and they pulled the Sun Wukong away from Jumpahhh in case he wanted to go back to that one as well. But Pele Freya, man, it's just so scary.
It is a bit ambiguous, though, as to where this Freya and Pele are going to end up. This could be jungle, this could be hunter, it could be solo lane even, or even in the mid lane, Freya mid lane. So a lot of spots still with a lot of question marks here for Noxious to try and fill in the blanks, and I think that is probably the primary advantage that Flashpoint has right now, because Noxious, it's one thing to recognize the downsides from a composition that you just faced, but to try and adjust to an entirely new one while still just trying to figure out what even went wrong entirely in the first game can be problematic.
Yeah, it's tough, because now you have to try and make the adjustments on the fly when you're still kind of reeling from the game one deficit. And what to make matters worse, I don't know how you touch Freya or Pele now that they've added this Geb into the mix, right? The Cataclysm, the Shockwave, the shields, of course, are going to add even more problems on top of it. I mean, what can you do is when you can finally catch up to Pele when she's faster than you, you can kind of get in front of the ultimate and block the dash, right? You can try and lock her down. Well, that task has just been made even harder for Noxious in this game.
I think my favorite part about all of this, though, is the fact that Koiz gets his signature god pick.
Yeah.
The Geb. I mean, this is a guy that he has gone back to time and time again throughout these LAN settings and typically had success on them. Geb is just such a safe support choice, and normally you'd expect the Geb to be punished in the early game, but when you're up against a Terra, you kind of have that general understanding that you have a little bit more leeway to work with in the early game.
Maybe a couple more levels, like 1 or 2 more levels than you might have if you're up against like a Kumba or something over there in that lane matchup, right? Maybe like an RDO. So I think you're right that Geb can have a little bit more room to breathe. Flashpoint have their support already in the Geb, so they don't need Discordia this time. Taco, so they can just ban the Discordia away. I'm making a Discordia support joke. Laugh, please. Thank you, Taco, for having my back. Ullr comes through for even more pressure over there in the duo lane. Now, Geb's not a ton of that, but if they, well, not even necessarily that Ullr's going in duo. Freya and Ullr could flex between either role, really. So wherever they put it, it's going to be a ton of pressure.
Ullr Keegs.
Ullr, yeah, I like that. Ullr Keegs, that sounds good.
It is so interchangeable,
Right.
though. We've seen Crimson play Ullr, we've seen Keegs play Ullr. We both know that they're very well likely to be capable of playing Freya. And that's one of the harder aspects of dealing with Flashpoint here, is that not only does this roster already have so much synergy within its teammates because they've all played with each other before, but it's just their god pools are so flexible.
Yeah, you can say the same, I think, for Jumpahhh Delnyy, because sometimes gods could go for Jumpahhh in the jungle or for Delnyy and solo as well. So they have that ambiguity, I think, working in a lot of different areas for their team. And Noxious got to find a way to try and deal with it. But I think you're right. You kind of sold me with Keegs Ullr. He does like this pick and certainly could look strong on it. We'll see if that's the call as Nuwa and Medusa come through now for Noxious. So they do have some, some AoE there with the Medusa, with the Petrify. Nuwa, if she can find, a Clay Soldier explosion, but it's not a ton. I mean, what is from this draft that Noxious have? Are they looking for picks? Are they looking for the team fights? Where do they want to, what's their identity?
Acid Spray should at least be enough during the level 1 period for a Terra Medusa dual lane to be relatively safe. I don't want to say entirely safe, because there is still some likelihood that if it is an Ullr in that dual lane, having the double ability start could be a significant advantage in terms of just getting pressure during the laning phase. But I do like the Medusa pickup. I think Petrify could be big here in terms of punishing the Pele Freya if they over-aggress into Noxious's team comp. But I'm mostly concerned about this Nuwa, because yet again, it kind of doesn't feel like Noxious have really left themselves room to breathe if something goes wrong.
Yeah, they don't have what's the matchup that you feel like you win in this one, right? Maybe you feel like you have a good chance over in the jungle with this Erlang Shen, and you can sort of let him carry you throughout that early game until your Nuwa and your Medusa are really swinging in that mid game when they're going to be feeling good. But now with this Robin coming through, I'm thinking Pele might be in the solo lane, and then this Robin for Jumpahhh, that makes things even a little bit more scary that you got to worry about him running around.
I'm scared of seeing Delnyy on a hyper carry possible god like Pele
Absolutely.
into the Wukong, because Wukong, he can be fine if he's left alone, but I think Pele, depending on how Delnyy chooses to start his itemization choices early on, could have the upper hand here.
Yeah, that ability lifesteal can be a nightmare. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Pele trying to get that going as soon as possible, right? And then getting to the point where she can feel unkillable in her own right. But now you've gotten a chance to kind of see both of these drafts. I know Flashpoint's probably the team you're favoring, but do you think they've won the draft on this one too? I mean, Freya Pele's pretty good.
Yes, they won the draft. And I think that I can't say, necessarily this is a guaranteed victory for Flashpoint. I still think that Noxious are a more than competent team in terms of keeping up, but it's going to be tight.
It's going to be difficult indeed. Let's go right into the action. Noxious up against Flashpoint. Game 2, take it away.
Thanks again, John. Great job, Taco, as always. Tom and Tolly back on the horn here. And Noxious, they've got a lot to clean up if they were trying to find game number 2's victory. Jumpahhh going from Sun Wukong to a much stronger Ravana, if you want my opinion. And then, like Taco said, Delnyy on a carry. A little scary.
And the reason why they didn't get Sun Wukong was because Noxious picked it before the secondary ban phase, leaving Ravana available after second. So that's kind of why Jumpahhh was able to get that for himself. Not surprised to see, yet again, Mango prioritizing the Erlang Shen. I don't think he was the reason of the downfall for Noxious. I think that was a collective thing that Noxious need to start cleaning up and not allow the team fights to get away from them, because the early lead went the way of Noxious.
At the same time, Mango prioritizing Erlang Shen, I'm with. Yes, thumbs up.
Yes.
Freya and Pele got picked on the other side there. Totally.
Sure. So in that case, what you have to do is not pick up Erlang Shen, Freya, or Pele, and then leave it open and then pick something else. But the bans of Artio and Jumpahhh at that point is a little questionable, leaving up such high burst damage characters. It's going to even allow Crimson to play the Freya in the mid lane and get even more pressure than he had as the Agni.
I mean, look, the reason we see Jumpahhh and the Artio ban is because Jumpahhh is kind of a throwaway ban. It's a strong mid laner, but it's a throwaway ban. And then the Artio is what kept Reformed Mango in check last game.
Yes.
So we clearly see that Noxious want to play the Erlang Shen, but are they giving up too much? My answer is yes. I think the biggest problem here for Noxious has been the picks and bans. Tully, you're Coach Anatoly now. How does Noxious? What should they have done in P's and B's?
Well, the thing that they should have done in Picks and Bans was allow the RDO to go through and then just start camping the RDO.
Yeah.
Like, take out the RDO from the get-go. Don't allow that rotation to be fruitful, because now you're having to deal with Delnyy playing the Pele that's going to be rushing Soul Eater, going to have a lot of ability lifesteal. That's going to find probably a solo kill on Gnome if he's not careful. But the one thing that Noxious has going for them in their draft is the lack of control from Flashpoint. Without that RDO, who's going to really shut down Mango? Once Koiz uses his Cataclysm knockup, keegsmate's going to have to hit his axe, Crimson's going to have to hit his whoop for the self-peel.
Yeah, it's a lack of crowd control on Flashpoint's side for sure, but what they lack in control, they have in power. Delnyy on this Pele is going to be really tough to handle if he's allowed to get off to a lead. And right now, looking at that lane, Totally, it looks like he's going to do just that.
It seems so, and it's only going to get scarier once some of those stacks become an issue. As keegsmate trying to find out some poke there as level 2 Ullr, not dealing the most damage. Good little shield from Koiz, but the damage has already been done. I like the aggression from Noxious's duo lane starting off early.
Hydro's been a strong player for a while now, so it's fun watching him get the Medusa and kind of dish back to keegsmate what he got there in game number 1. Will they be able to win the lane is a different story. Keegs on the Ullr has been a standout pick for him. You mentioned how he went from the console scene to the PC scene. Ullr's been his selection kind of no matter what league he's in. I'm a little scared if I'm going up against keegsmate's Ullr. But Hydro, not scared at all, just bringing it to him.
When Mush is going to set up the root, it's just not enough of a Geb shield this early on to prevent that damage from Hydro to be impactful. Trying to get their own purple buff, but the timing could be a little tricky because Noxious should be able to clear out this wave and look for a red buff invade after the fact.
Well, they're going to seep into the jungle. Purple has already gone the way of Flashpoint, so red buff would be the only invade available.
They're worried about Jumpahhh because they don't have vision of him on the minimap. Good safety recognition from Noxious. Not wanting to overstep any sort of boundaries. Just assume the jungler could be on your side of the map if you don't have that proper intel.
And also, you know, good on Jumpahhh by staying out of the lanes during that moment. That's a team communication moment where you're sitting there and going, they're unsure of where you are, don't show your face. Jumpahhh does just that, head back.
Gnome getting off some trades with Delnyy. Soul Eater already complete after the teleport.
Oh, wow.
Trying to get that lifesteal going, clearing the wave rather effectively.
Do you like that build, Totally?
I don't
Because
mind
usually we see the Warrior's Blessing on the Pele. Like, this is just a straight rush.
It is a straight rush, and the thing is, it's a good item to have early on. Because hold that thought, though, this duo lane could be a little bit of trouble for both hunters.
Nice stun there from keegsmate, but really, really strong stuff coming out from the support as well. Just getting involved and making sure his hunter doesn't die there. Here comes Jumpahhh, blink forward, beats to get rid of the root. Here's the follow-up damage. Hydro gets a nice shell from Mush. And the damage out of Keegs, not going to be good enough. A nice gank from Jumpahhh. But Mush just quick on the shell and able to make that one, make his teammate survive.
I think Hydro was able to juke out the Prada Onslaught at the very last second, able to really wiggle that Medusa tail out of the way.
Tough one for him to handle there. Delnyy again, control of this lane. And I expect him to have control of this lane. Just a combination of damage and sustain on top of, you're sustaining by doing damage.
Sure.
It's kind of rough to deal with.
And the thing about Soul Eater is the ability lifesteal synergizes more with a Pele than it does with the Sun Wukong. Deathwalker specifically brought this item more popularity in the SPL side on the Sun Wukong just to be able to be that lane bully. But
he's a spam.
Yeah, and the thing is, when a Sun Wukong can easily hit multiple targets repeatedly. If you hit 3 targets at like level 12 and higher, you're getting about 100 health back per 3 targets hit, right?
Wow.
Whereas a Pele, you have one ability that's realistically going to hit 3 targets. Mango with another good gank.
And Delnyy just down as quickly as he came. Gnome with the first blood. Fantastic job there so far from Noxious. Able to pick that up.
And man, Mango making these rotations, whether it's game 1 or game 2, hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh?
I guess so, Totally. I guess so. New ultimate comes up. Noxious still in the lead. Oh, man. Yeah, we're feeling some kind of way. Flashpoint, don't forget, game number 1. Also were on the bad end of things as far as first blood is concerned, but quickly were able to take care of it. And so a nice play there from Flashpoint, or excuse me, from Noxious to really turn things around. But let's take another look. Let's take another look at that first blood.
The respawn first blood. It was just a great rotation from Mango, and this is what he did in game number 1. Last time it was up against Crimson, but this time it's against Delnyy.
Yeah, fantastic job. That's our respawn first blood. And you're right, certainly not going to miss there. Noxious looking clean and clear for sure.
But keep in mind, this is what Noxious did in the first game. They found the first blood, but they weren't able to transition it into anything else. Good little Wu forcing out the bees in mid.
Now Hydra here by himself, one-on-one, fighting the mid lane, but the carry duel, it's over here. Hydro, his support's around. The stun's gonna miss. keegsmate on the run. In the middle lane, Jumpahh's gonna fall down. Keegs is still chasing this carry all the way to the back line.
One more shot!
Hydro, he's gonna survive this one. Oh, the hunt down.
Well, it's still going to force out at least a back out of Hydro, missing out on a lot of experience, and he's still chasing. He actually jumped through the tower to find the solo.
keegsmate going all the way deep. Look at that young man at the bottom right of your screen. That little smirk.
Nonchalant.
That is no, that is smug. That is a smug mug. keegsmate right there, getting his points back for his team, and Flashpoint jump ahead.
Well, you know what the famous Michael Scott says, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and keegsmate taking all the shots in the world. Delnyy forced to use that ultimate defensively to get away from the clutches of Mango.
So we were talking before about how we would have rathered seen this Noxious draft go down, and you mentioned just let the audio through and then camp it. Well, here they're camping the Pele, and I think this is the right thing to do. Delnyy on the carry, definitely want to take care of him.
And now it's going to get trickier because Delnyy has the Soul Leader already fully evolved, so he's getting that extra ability lifesteal on top of the passive. So if you don't 100-0 Delnyy in the first 3 seconds, he's just going to be able to heal it all back up from the one knock-up, a couple of the fire orbs, and then he's topped off.
It reminds me of old school Hercules, and Herc can still do this, but it's been nerfed a little bit, where you jump on him, you bring him down to 25%, and then he's at 95 again, and you just mash your monitor.
And what else you could do is maybe force out the Pele passive in the 1v1 from Gnome, and then during that 20-second internal cooldown, then have the gank from Mango to take advantage.
Right now, all things tied up. About 1,000 gold lead for the North Americans here, but essentially, Noxious, their first blood, has been eliminated. So it's Flashpoints at the moment. They did win game number 1. Mango in some trouble here. Gonna find the knockup. Eribiiax on the other hand. He's gonna get knocked up. And where's his teammate? Oh, Matt Koiz takes care of Eribiiax. Nice and easy.
The zoning of Mango on the right. Mush a little too far in the bottom. Crimson going to get slowed up from the Petrifies. He falls.
Very good play there from Noxious. Hydro making the rotation, making himself known, and putting number 3 up on the board for him and his team. Great job there from the Europeans.
Man, Medusa is doing so much work in this set, whether it's keegsmate or Hydro. Keegs able to take a 1v2 and still escape into the safety of his own red buff. Both of these hunters making the plays happen when it matters, and very identical styles going for the Transcendence.
Do you think the Medusa is going to be a big pick, not just following console over a DreamHack, but the upcoming PC placement starts on Monday?
I think so, because you look at some of these corridors in the jungle and you think about, you know, certain abilities that really thrive off of it. You're thinking of Waxing Moon, you're thinking of the Petrify, Through Space and Time, Final Judgment. Those corridor fights are so important to take advantage if you have those abilities. And around Fire Giant specifically, there are plenty of corridors to position yourself around such. So that Petrify does a lot of damage if you can hit people from the front, even if it is going to be a tanky Guardian.
That's really, I loved the Blink Medusa last game from keegsmate. We saw a number of times, at least twice, where players were just doing their thing, shooting the Gold Fury, or just, you know, not paying attention, and all of a sudden, I'm stoned! They get hit by the ultimate out of Medusa, they get turned into a statue. Just real fun stuff coming out of Medusa. I think she's going to be a power pick.
The ultimate damage numbers are basically mage level. 700 damage plus 100% scaling at max rank is just so obnoxious to deal with.
Matt Koiz right now doing, I love the vision he's placing while his team is doing the objective. 50% of the Gold Fury. Mango is over the wall. Flashpoint are aware, and so they're going to leash it up. They're going to pick it back. They really want to fight Noxious right now, but Noxious learned their lesson from game 1.
They want to bait Noxious in a bad spot. Crimson was just basic attacking the Gold Fury to get some of his mana back from that Freya passive, and that's going to allow him to still stay relatively healthy in the mana department to spam those abilities. We were talking about in game number 1, Tom, the level disparity between these two mid laners. Not much has changed in game number 2.
Yeah, 3 levels above. In fact, we were laughing. Just not a lot of success for the Nuwa here. Low pick rate, low win rate as well. Very interesting selection. Why does Eribiiax go to Nuwa here?
It is a safe pick if you have somebody next to you, but his 2 deaths, there was nobody next to him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that far out of position. Like, he was right next to his tower line, but he didn't respect the true potential. Level 9 Nuwa doesn't deal that much damage, and he was forced to rush the boots after starting off with that tier 2 Book of Thoth. And if you don't have the mobility to escape Matt Koiz, well, you're just a sitting duck for the Cataclysm.
Right side, Delnyy and Gnome just banging it out as per usual. Delnyy with a full HP bar, but he's been camped over here. Only 1 death, but definitely been pushed out of lane at least 2 or 3 times so far. Still able to stay competitive, though, and I think that's a big win.
Absolutely. Despite taking that early spill about 6 minutes into the game or so, that's the true success of a lot of solo laners, is how you can roll with the punches and bounce on back. So the fact that he's not too far behind Gnome in the experience department just goes to show that Delny's been able to get some back camp, some blue buff solo, while Jumpahhh has been concentrating on other areas of the map.
So players here in the mid lane. Eribiiax across the way, Crimson on the Freya. Freya's been such an impressive pick here in Season 5, specifically the latter half of the year. She got changed around, and the damage she brings is incredible. So a very interesting shift to the character. She was moved basically from a out-of-date carry hunter player to a mid laner. Shelve that conversation for now. The objective picked up by Flashpoint. Ton of damage off the top. Terra is not going to be here. Totally, this one paid in full.
Absolutely free. Noxious even know that this is happening. This is why they're going for the Pyromancer instead of trying to contest the Gold Fury. Receiving 500 gold, they're going to lose that trade slightly.
I like that play.
But at least they're not giving up both objectives.
I don't like that play. I don't like that play. I think it's too early to be giving up objectives like that. I think this is the point where you could have contested.
The problem is playing a Nuwa doesn't have steal potential, right? That's more of a team fighting kind of control mage between the Clay Golem, Shining Metal, which does a lot of damage, but that's later in the game once you get some items, you get multiple golems. But if it's only going to be 3 members because Mango and Gnome were on Pyromancer, then you're not stealing that Gold Fury anytime soon. If anything, Flashpoint are going to get off that objective and kill those 3 members and then get the Gold Fury.
I mean, you mentioned it before. Hydro's got mage-like numbers on his ultimate.
That's true.
So I'm totally with you. And actually, I think that's a beautiful part of the Noxious draft is that they do give up some objective secure in the mid lane, but they pick it up with the Medusa.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see at least a shot for it. Instead, Gold Fury goes down. Hydro is going to die here. Matt Koiz with the ultimate. Crimson takes care of Hydro. And Koiz, will he die to the Nuwa?
Nope.
No, he stays alive. And the red buff does go to Noxious, but they lose a teammate for it.
A very important kill onto Hydro, dead for 30 seconds. Going to give keegsmate more of an opportunity to separate that experience department. Jumpahhh in a 1v1, but here comes Keegs.
And he's looking for the kill onto the jungler. Eribiiax blows him up. 2 players, 1 shot. And that's the power of Nuwa.
The Mystic Rush used offensively. Jumpahhh getting way too ahead of himself. He saw Mush there, but didn't realize Eribiiax was right beside him for the Shining Metal Clay Golem explosion.
You were talking about how she's more of a team fight character instead of an objective secure character. Right there, just kills 2 players with 1 stone.
So easy to be able to find out in these corridor fights, right?
Yeah.
It's not only Petrify that's successful in doing so. In these little encounters, closed bubbles, there's a big area explosion damage once you pop your golems.
One of the bigger conversations we had at the beginning of the year. Smite changing the map. Map stuck around for a couple of years, and they changed it here at the beginning of Season 5. And so a couple of characters, Medusa and Nuwa notably, became a little bit more interesting because it is harder to sort of get out of trouble in these smaller channels, these corridors, as you say. Certainly an invitation for characters like that to join the party.
It just favors more AoE characters. Even Gev gonna receive some benefits from their Hydro, taking so much poke damage. Keegsmate is trying to reset his cooldowns by jumping, but I think he bit off more than he could shoot. No, he didn't!
Oh my goodness gracious. Hydro's mad about that one. Eribiiax gets the response kill. But Keegsmate putting on a show for us.
Without Jotun's Wrath, that play is not a possibility. I didn't think he would have the axe available, but he certainly did.
Jumpahhh trying to run away. Biax picks him up on the backside. Now Koiz trying to find a way out. Gnome taking care of Delnyy. The two solo laners have made the rotation. Delnyy uses the ultimate. Can't find the damage though, but certainly heals himself up.
Gnome topping himself off, landing in the back line, keeping Crimson and Delnyy in check. Koiz awfully low, needs one more basic. Gnome secures it.
Beautiful team fight from Noxious. Delnyy is able to find some damage. Mango, bad play. Why did you dive the tower versus a Freya and a Pele? That is not what you do. And Noxious had a wonderful play, and Crimson erupts.
He's not done. Oh my
Just like
God.
his name.
Crimson wants more, but he's not respecting the rotations. There needs to be that little voice in the back of your mind of like, this person's respawning and they're coming soon, but not in this theater near you.
Man, Noxious right there. Mango makes a boneheaded play. And then Crimson gets adrenalized and goes a little bit too far.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
You saw red in his eyes.
And it's funny because, yes, I am giving Mango more nonsense than Crimson, who made the same exact play. But Crimson's coming off this hot double kill. He's just got, acid in his veins. He's going for it. I feel it. Mango looked at the situation, assessed it, and then made the decision to dive the tower. Both players wind up looking a little bit silly. And so all in all, it winds up being an even trade.
Mango getting out the Geb shield and the Pele ultimate just for his own. Keegsmate gonna beat away the slow. Needs one more basic attack, but the shell right in the nick of time. Mush saving his Hunter's life.
And right there, Noxious Hydro specifically says, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, fool me 4 times, but the 5th time, I'm gonna get you. And his teammate helps him out and takes care of business. Now Noxious looking towards the objective. Crimson in the air early? I don't know about that one. And Noxious gonna write the lack of a Freya ult in the book and look for the goal.
Afraid of Mango's knock-up, and that's exactly what happened. Hydro needs some peel in the back line because Jumpahhh is looking at him like a hawk.
But the frenzy isn't good enough. He's got help from a teammate. 2 teammates. Still, Jumpahhh gets a kill before he falls down. 2 for 2 so far. Flashpoint do get some of the damage they asked for, but this, a closer game than game number 1.
That was a 4-on-5 Flashpoint took without Keegsmate that still came out on top for a 2-for-1. So Keegsmate now respawning, making it a 4-on-3. Koiz is basically out of the equation anyway, so he's going to have to back.
Koiz with the same build that he went earlier. Is he in trouble?
I think so. The ultimate is not available. Needs to be able to land a couple more basics, but Gnome gonna retreat. Meanwhile, Noxious secures the Pyromancer yet again. Flashpoint getting the better end of the objective trade.
Why is that the case, though? They went for the Pyromancer before Gold Fury was even on.
They knew they couldn't stop Flashpoint from getting the Gold Fury in a 3-on-4.
So the last time that was the case. This time, Pyromancer goes down as Flashpoint started the Gold Fury. It's not even like they saw them.
They didn't even want to be on that left side of the map.
Just forget about it completely?
Basically. I think it was Eribiiax that was dead alongside Hydro. And though we were mentioning how Medusa is your objective stealer, Eribiiax is going to be your team fighting kind of presence from the new one. And without those two gods, you're not going to want to be on the left side of the map. You might as well get something during this downtime, waiting for your 2 members to respawn anyway.
Delnyy again collapsed on here by 2 players. The passive is anything but. Delnyy gets aggressive, takes down 1. Can he get the second? Fighting Gnome. tier 1 tower gone. Knock him is good. Delnyy finding the damage by way of the abilities. The rotation from Mush, staunched. As Flashpoint tries to find the players. Gnome forced into the ultimate. Jumpahhh shows up. Delnyy takes on the 2v1 and comes out on top, baby.
That's the passive with the Soul Eater. You could take advantage of it early game, but this late into the game with a Void Shield, with the Blackthorn's Hammer, that lifesteal is so obnoxious that you can't really burst her down any longer without the anti-healing. Now, Gnome did have the Pestilence. You're looking at a little bit there, 40% along that side, but no Brawler speed stick from Mango.
I love this pickup of the Blackthorn Hammer. It's going to allow Delnyy to basically stay in these team fights even longer. He's got the health regen, or the health sustain rather, by way of his passive with the Soul Eater, but then he runs out of mana.
Yep.
Then it's given back to him by the Blackthorn as he's brought down. So he fights, he gets brought down, his health and his mana tick up, and he does it all again. What a great build from Delnyy. This scrum in the mid lane is going to go defaulted to Flashpoint. They're up 6,000 gold, Tolly, and these last 3 minutes or so, Flashpoint have just made it look like they made the decision to take the game.
And the thing is, if you look at just the score, 11-11, you would think that these teams are very even, but the 2 Gold Furies go in the way of Flashpoint. The towers go in the way of Flashpoint as well. 4 towers removed out of Noxious is what's giving them this map control that's just separating these 2 teams between North America and Europe.
Noxious have done a great job game number 2 here. I think matching what the North Americans were giving to them. Much better than game number 1. Game number 1, Noxious just they got a first blood and then kind of rolled over and died. Here, they were able to dance with FP a little bit better, but now as the game trudges on, I think the power of the picks is really coming through, and Delnyy is at this point where I think he's unstoppable.
And Crimson as well, about to hit level 20 any moment now, finishing off his Telekind's ring, going for Demonic before that, going for Polynomicon. He has that one-shot potential, or at least for the cleanup crew. Gnome trying to escape, but now he could have baited out Mush.
He's going to find a little bit of damage, just some zonage. Jumpahhh not having the best game, and I think what a wonderful situation he's in to have players that can kind of pick him up when he is not doing his strongest. I think that's kind of Jumpahh's problem, was that he was the only guy for a long time. Now he's got some teammates.
Oh, Mush having to dash away defensively. Ultimate from Hydro, trying to peel for himself.
He avoided it. The sidestep from Jumpahhh gets out of the Petrify and finds help. Delnyy with the double kill. Mango, 3 players jump on him. Delnyy, 3 for the man, 1 for keegsmate, and Gnome flying all the way home. Flashpoint, they're here in lane, and they're gonna look for the Phoenix out of control.
They might even look for the game here, Tom. 20 seconds remaining for Mush to come back into it, but it's taking too long, actually, and I think that they're going to retreat to the Pyromancer after the fact. 15 seconds on Mush. This would be a risky call if they were to go for the end.
Yeah, I don't think they can end here, Tolly, and neither do they. Right side Phoenix is all they'll take. Do they go to Fire Giant?
Oh, they have to go for Fire Giant to extend their lead and be able to get the remaining 2 Phoenixes, and wanting to chip away at that Titan's protections and health bar with some of the towers alongside of it.
Jumpahhh straggling behind because he picks up the speed buff. And the Fire Giant going to go easily to Flashpoint. Matt Koiz, don't die. Easy peasy. Flashpoint, nice and clean here. 24.5 on the clock. 15-11. And the North Americans find themselves up 10,000 gold.
The INAP instant replay. This is where Delnyy gets himself that triple kill. Hydro was the focus point where Jumpahhh was able to blink past the action and keep everyone in check.
I love that moment. You and I actually talked about this old school Smite video on air. The jump party.
Yes.
Where everybody jumps. It's a really old video set to New Bugatti. That's what that felt like. All 3 homies just jump over the wall. Poor Mango goes, 1 on me, no 2 on me, no 3 on me, and he's dead before he lets go of his push to talk. Noxious, man. Ouch. Flashpoint, man. Boom. That's what they're doing right now. Feeling really strong.
And what's something we didn't see in the replay was Crimson's ability to whoop Mango before that fight even started to force out the purification beats. It was evident that Mango wanted to force something on the backhand side, but he was spotted by a ward, and without those purification beads, you play a different style now. You're no longer thinking aggressively because you don't have that safety net of getting yourself out of danger. And as a result, Noxious were constantly being barreled down by Flashpoint instead. And that's what's giving them all these little edges instead. Matt Koiz looking for the engage. keegsmate a little bit off the mark with his axe. It's just a little bit of a waiting game between these two teams. Fire Giant still around their waist for another 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Flashpoint now pushing forward. Matt Koiz in the front. Gnome here as well. Flashpoint waiting for their opportunity. All three blinks are up. So you've got Delnyy, Jumpahhh, and Matt Koiz ready to go. I want to see Matt Koiz blink in and find the big initiation. Delnyy also an option. Noxious, playing it safe. There's the blink in. Matt Koiz can't find it. Doesn't blow the ultimate. Players spread out. Nice positioning from Noxious. hydra's gonna bite back and take care of one. There's one from the mid laner. There's two from the mid laner as well. Noxious, fantastic defense, turning it into offense. Crimson surrounded and grounded. Hydro with two. Eribiiax with two. keegsmate the only one alive. And Hydro avoids the 1v1. Fantastic positioning from Noxious.
He's going for it. He jumps over the wall. That stun off the mark. He forces out even the Aegis. Needs one more basic attack. keegsmate biting more than he can chew.
That was an attempt at a display of dominance. keegsmate's death there, largely inconsequential. He was looking for his 1v1, wanted to kill Hydro and then die. Doesn't kill Hydro, just dies. Tier 1 tower free. Tier 2 tower arguably free. I don't think Noxious can get a Phoenix.
I don't think so either, but this tier 2 tower might go down fairly quickly. Matt Koiz might posture for the defense, and something that Noxious did well was just allow Matt Koiz to go in. This Nuwa damage, keep in mind of how much penetration those Clay Golems do. With the Shining Metal combo, the Petrify from Hydro set things off by killing Matt Koiz before the Geb Shield came out to do anything positive. I think if anyone's going to go in, it's got to be Jumpahhh, because you can at least overhead kick that Shining Metal stun combo.
Still, I think the biggest play there from Noxious was something that I think lower-end players don't really internalize. The positioning. We were watching Flashpoint just kind of line up. We know what's happening. Koiz is going to blink and look for the ultimate. Noxious spread out. So Koiz blinked in and then turned left, turned right.
Nowhere.
And there was nowhere to really ult. And because he's just sitting here doing the twist, Noxious then double kill for Eribiiax, double kill for Hydro. I mean, what a fantastic play from Noxious, just keeping positioning in mind.
Patience is a virtue, some would say, and that's what Noxious demonstrated to a T. Not overstepping past the Phoenix until they knew the team fight was theirs. Hydro following up with a beautiful Petrify is the secondary step after Eribiiax, and I think that Flashpoint are starting to get ahead of themselves. The way they were playing that mid game was a little sloppy, where they were going for a little bit too many kills, flashy plays, and now they think that they're almost untouchable with some of their Fire Giant buffs. So they need to kind of realize that it's got to be a methodical process before they secure game number 2 and they secure their ticket into HRX.
Flashpoint right now trying to wrestle control this back. 6,000 gold so far in the lead. Flashpoint trying to look for the fight more so than the objective. Mango collapsed on. Damage from Delnyy. And the Erlang Shen is history here. Matt Koiz now isolating Mush. Up goes Eribiiax. Gnome going to be jumped on. Backside, Crimson trying to deal with the mid lane mage. Lands on the ground, takes care of business. Number 17 as Nuwa goes goodbye. Hydro is on the good side of that one. 4 players dead. Gnome will escape into the clutches of Delnyy. And with Gnome falling down, Flashpoint gonna walk up the lane. 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and 50 seconds. The right side bird already hurt, and this will be the game. Flashpoint walk into the throne room. Anatoly, they're gonna take care of the Titan. They're gonna take care of business. They're gonna take care of the game, end the set, and we will see Flashpoint at DreamHack.
North America console scene proving to be too strong for Europe so far. Only rival thus far in the console world able to step it up at times during the spring split where they were able to win it there. So now going to be joined by In Control and also Flashpoint, the two North American representatives from both PlayStation and Xbox, respectively.
Fantastic job so far from these teams. Everybody looked really strong there on the side of Flashpoint. Really liked what Jumpahhh was able to do, but I'm sorry. I'm looking at Delnyy. Delnyy, really, really big stuff. Game number 1, playing a tank. Game number 2, playing the Pele, a little bit more aggressive, and both of the games certainly in his hands.
That triple kill during that Fire Giant push was just really important for them to get that first Phoenix. Not able to really get anything after the fact of multiple Phoenixes, but it was just a slow, methodical process that they needed to kind of clean up. That left side Phoenix was a little sloppy. It can't be repeated during the HRX stage, but it's got to be, you know, fixed. Even after a win, you could still look back at a game and realize what you could have done differently.
In Control across the way, or excuse me, Noxious across the way. I did like some of their defensive pushes, not completely without fanfare, but realistically all about Flashpoint. Everybody on the squad looked good. Matt Koiz finally getting some wins here, and Jumpahhh, a big part of the jungle. But it's this SoundCloud guy on the left of your screen. The bad die job, but a great Smite game job. Loving what Delny's able to do here for Flashpoint and bring him and his squad. Yeah, flex it up, buddy. Flex it up, buddy. You're going to DreamHack. Great job so far.
Discordia supporting game number 1, going for a more traditional Geb supporting game number 2. Matt Koiz flexing on his competition.
Love to see it. Fantastic stuff. As we said, Flashpoint headed to DreamHack. We're headed to the desk.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Toll. And congratulations to Flashpoint. Indeed, a well-earned trip that they're going to be taking to DreamHack Atlanta, joining In Control, who made it on the PS4 side of things. So now Rival not going to have a lot of EU help when they're out there. They're going to get it done repping the boys for the Xbox side.
But they might get a little bit of last-minute practice, though, still from the guys at Noxious. Noxious having come into this LAN and experience a little bit of the North American meta might be able to help out Rival just a little bit. One thing's for sure, though, highly doubt that Rival's going to let Pele Freya ever go through.
No, that is, I think we're seeing what that can do. 20,000 for Crimson and then 21,000 for Delnyy. Not to mention keegsmate had an excellent game on the Ullr as well. But yeah, hard to believe that Pele Freya were able to do quite a bit of damage. So I think that in both sets today, what we saw was that there were some errors made in picks and bans, I think, that really hindered them in game, because we saw some flashes, right? Noxious on that left side Phoenix defense looked great. We saw what this draft can kind of do. The thing is, you have to be able to acquire a draft that can execute well without giving up this much.
It just felt like these European teams decided to go with the picks that they run before in scrims that they were comfortable with, as opposed to trying to shift things around once the actual breakdown started happening here at LAN. And that's just part of the competitive scene. You've got to know how to make those adjustments as they're happening on the fly.
And I think it helps for Flashpoint that they didn't give anything away, right? Jumpahhh being good at Ravana, Crimson being good at Freya. I mean, keegsmate, we know how well he plays Ullr, none of that's new. And then I think the man of the hour, Delnyy, being good on the Pele, right? No big surprise there, to the point where Delnyy gets selected here as the MVP for the set, really off the performance he had in Game 1. He was the one that was integral with that steal on the RDO to grab that Gold Fury. And then here in Game 2, finding the triple kills with the Pele. I mean, they just didn't have an answer to him.
It's just the ultimate wombo combo. There were multiple instances where we saw Delnyy following up off of a banish, whether it was a 2, 3, 4-man whoop there out of Crimson. You've got Delnyy soaring through on this Pele ultimate, just dealing so much damage consistently that Noxious could not run away from.
No, there was no way back out. And it wasn't just the damage either, as this is the triple kill I was alluding to. It was also the sustain. He went with that Soul Eater right away, which we see a lot of the times from Pele's, because it gives so much to her survivability. It's so key to what she does, is that when she gets low, she wants to engage in even more, and Delnyy was happy to do that. Really, the whole team was. Flashpoint playing a little bit loose, I would say, here in this game. Even keegsmate, his KDA may not have been as clean as normal, because they were going in a lot.
A couple of questionable moments from, I think, Jumpahhh, Keegs, and some of the other members from Flashpoint, respectively. But I would expect that when it comes to DreamHack itself, that we're probably not going to see the same sort of loose play style from these guys. I think that they had a little bit more fun with things once they actually had the lead fully developed, because they knew how abusable their god choices were once they actually got them ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm on this Dragon Ball Z tip today, but that wasn't even their final form. You know, Flashpoint, I imagine, are going to look even better once they make it to DreamHack, sort of as you're saying there, because there is some stuff that not only should they clean up, but that I think they could clean up, if they're playing in a match where they felt, maybe a little bit more threat. Noxious is a strong team, but Flashpoint were playing like they felt pretty confident they'd be able to win.
I think the whole way through, that confidence kind of just helped them steer things along, and just congratulations to the guys. They're going to be headed to DreamHack.
That's right. They've absolutely earned this win, going through as the second place representative out of North America. I got to imagine the boys are feeling good. So let's get over there to Flashpoint to hear some of their thoughts.
All right, we're here with Flashpoint. First and foremost, congratulations on making it to DreamHack. I'm going to talk to you, Matt Koiz. You're always the emotional one. I connect with that. Talk to me about what it means to make it to the big stage for you.
It's everything, honestly. Just making it on the stage and seeing all the bright lights and all the fans, and going there for a fourth time. It's surreal to be this lucky, but I have a good team behind me, and I'm just excited to be here and be at Worlds.
Speaking of some of your teammates, keegsmate specifically, this question goes out to you. Transitioning from the box to the PC, back to the box. Was there anything missed or lost? How has the transition been back for you?
I think I'm definitely more mature compared to how I was last year, because there'd be like a lot of issues with my immaturity, but I think I've done pretty good so far.
Hell yeah, we've certainly seen the glow up. Again, I'm going to direct a question towards you, Matt Koiz, and I think I'm channeling a little bit of everybody when I ask this question. Discordia support, question mark?
Exclamation point. All right. Discord, it actually started off as like a troll. I would just be in the ranked and just played it, and it actually like worked really well. So then we just tried it out in scrims, and we have an undefeated record with it right now. And it's honestly nuts. Everyone should try it.
Just the idea of the control that she brings, or what do you like about it specifically?
The passive itself, like you can just give it to anybody. And then also we did a lot of research on their mid, and they like Discordia, so we decided just practice it, take it away. And she's just like, once you get the mask on, once you get reinforced greaves, she's just she's unkillable at that point. So.
Oh man, you SoundClouders are laughing at every little reference. I can't deal with you guys, but I can deal with your victory. Congratulations again, Flashpoint. You guys are going to DreamHack. We'll see you there.
Big win coming out for Flashpoint. I imagine Matt Koiz and the boys are happy they can make it now to the actual big stage, and it's not going to be an easy path for them, man, once they end up making it there. So I know they're able to have a bit of a good time here, but they got to make sure they get those boots to the ground and really start working. Things are only going to get tougher for them from here.
Yeah, the real battle has only just begun here for the guys of Flashpoint, and not just Flashpoint either. It's going to be In Control also,
That's
who
right,
are on the cutting board now. Both of these teams just trying to do everything in their power to prep as much as possible for those semis at DreamHack.
Congratulations, you are our first PS4 Worlds representative. Your reward, Astral Authority. It just doesn't, it feels a bit rough. They certainly can get it done, but that just feels like the top team right now. Rival are right there with them, 1A and 1B, but your most recent champions from summer are Astral.
To be fair, though, the majority of In Control are former Xbox players themselves.
That's
it's
true.
not like this is foreign territory
They know
in
how
the
to lose to
slightest for the
Astral,
guys.
Those guys have some experience there. Maybe it'll help them out, but
I didn't say it.
I'm sure they'll be able to get it done a little bit better for them here. We'll see if they can make it work. I'm really excited for those matchups because I think you are right. This In Control team, what we saw from them, the way they look today, they look improved to me. I think they can certainly at least try and give Astral a run for their money. But if you don't want to miss a moment of the action, then make sure that you pick up your tickets to make your way there to DreamHack Atlanta, November 16th through the 18th. hi-rezexpo.com, because it's not just the console world championships, PC world championships, Paladins console, there's cosplay competitions. There's so much going on at this event. You're not going to want to miss a moment.
And look, we get it. November 16th through 18th, that's going to be the real heart and soul of HRX. But in case you're not done with it, go ahead and take off the 19th also, because the after party you are not going to want to miss out on.
No, absolutely not. That's going to be the night of November 18th. And as Taco's alluding to, you might need a little bit of time afterwards, depending on how much fun you end up having. After party, $50 gets you in the door. HRX afterparty.eventbrite.com. You're going to want to make sure you're there. You know, if you're at DreamHack, I can think of no good reason not to go to this, so make sure that's where everyone really is able to relax, unwind a little bit, have some fun, see your favorite personalities. We'll all be there, pro players and coaches and all that stuff, so you absolutely want to hang out.
And it's always just nice getting a chance to really look at things from behind the scenes, a moment of stress-free periods basically for the players and even the staff alike.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone just kind of getting a chance to relax. But remember, this is just the beginning, really, of HRX or the placement stages. This is just console to get our 2 teams that are going to join them. But PC is going to have a grueling week-long placement stage starting on Monday. Absolutely make sure that you're here. You're not going to want to miss a moment of that either. We're only getting 4 teams from those placements to make their way to join everyone else at DreamHack. So absolutely make sure that you are there. But that is going to do it here for us today with the console wars. Again, for Taco, Agro, all the rest of the casters, Tom, Hindu, Anatoly, and everyone else in the building. Thanks so much for watching with us, and we will see you all on Monday.
HRX is brought to you by hi-rez Studios, iNap, Mixer, Alienware, and Skillshot.